Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode on Our Voices podcast. Today we have a very special guest, but before we do that, why don't we introduce what we're going to be talking about? As you know, in our community, we have the youth podcast, which is what you're watching us on now, but we also have other forms of serving the community. We have the Youth Impact Center, that's a drop-in center. I'm sure I used to go to it when I was younger, and I still go in occasionally. Super fun. We have Friday Night Live, which is focused on building student leadership. So our guest, if you know her, is someone who works very closely with families, the community, and educators. Why don't we do some introductions? If you know, I'm Sophia, I'm the podcast co.
I'm Jazz, I'm the podcast tech.
Well, I'm Gwen Bakiran, and I am so excited to be part of this podcast for today's episode.
Awesome. Why don't we do an icebreaker?
Whew.
So when I was thinking of the icebreaker, me and Jazz were talking, and I thought, what better way to kind of break the ice when we're talking about school than to think about what our favorite childhood meal was. Whether that's what you ate in school.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, whether that's what you ate in school or just what you ate at home. Why don't we go around and share our meals?
I could start off. I would say when I was in elementary, with these lunches, they had like these bread cheese sticks that were really good.
Those.
They were like long rectangles with like dashes to air out them.
Is that the one with marinara sauce? No, that's
I think
different
they provided marinara sauce.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that when I was teaching in the classroom, my students would be eating that. I'm like, oh gosh, are those pizza bread or something?
Yeah.
Oh, so those are good because I've never tried it.
Those are so good. I would say mine would have to be... It's hard to memorize everything that I ate when I was in school, but my favorite thing to eat was probably when I could convince my mom to let me bring my own lunch, and then I would get the Lunchables. Ooh. And just last week, I actually bought myself 3. And I was like, I'm going to bring these to school. None of them made it to school because I ate them all.
You're talking about those boxes Lunchables that you buy at the grocery. Not Mr. Beast, right?
No. Oh my god. No, just like the ones with the cracker and the
Right. Oh, wow. Well, my lunch back in the days, it's very different from what you guys are so used to bringing to school or having at school. So I grew up in the Philippines, and when you say snack means rice. Rice is life for us Filipinos, for us in the Asian community. So even our snack, like we have rice and protein. So when I thought of my childhood memories of school, of food that I bring to school, it's always with rice. I'm sure you've heard about lumpia.
Yes.
And adobo. So I would bring lumpia to school with rice and then a side of fruit. Or if I forgot to bring lunch at school, guess what's the food in the cafeteria? Rice and adobo.
Yeah.
So it's always something with carbs and protein all the time, even if it's snacks.
I think for me, it's so interesting to see how all around the world, it's hard to be like, wow, there's other people like living completely different lives, and then you look at what other high schools or what other schools are eating within their communities like, based on their culture, and it's so crazy to see like all the different diets. I think I saw like some school in like France or something, and they were eating like these really intricate meals, and it was so cool, and I can't say that's for like the whole because obviously I don't live there, but I just thought like it's crazy to see how different everything is.
Just like in Japan, they have like sushi for snack. Like, we would love to have sushi in school too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good icebreaker.
Starting off with like a topic is, what's your journey with working with students in education?
Okay. Well, I would like to share like my background in education, right? And I think I was, but we're having conversation before we started this podcast about where I came from. So I moved here in 2008, straight from Manila, Philippines, and I knew no one. I only had 2 pieces of luggages with me, and really a hope and a dream of, starting a starting a new life, a brand new life, starting a new phase of my journey here in the US as a teacher. And thinking about that story and my experiences even coming here into this country and bringing all of the tools that I've learned everywhere, so that really shaped on how I see my students, how I work with students, how I train teachers, how I partnered with families in terms of really giving the support that our students need in education, and also giving our teachers the tools that they need so they could, be at their best and do what's best for our students, and giving the resources to our families so that there would be consistency. So in terms of the education piece, it's not just really supporting our students, but also taking care and supporting the adults that work with and around our students.
Yeah, and I love that background. I mean, just thinking about like Hollister as a community, many of the families that reside here have like a family background of immigrants. So the fact that you're able to see their perspective from their shoes because you had a similar experience is really like, wow. Like, it's oftentimes when we think of those who are kind of making the decisions for our community, making the decisions for our world, it's often people that we can't really compare ourselves to. But the fact that you're able to compare yourself with these students' lives is something that I love to see, and I wish I could see more of.
And Sophie brought up a very good point, Jazz. How important it is to see, like as a student, to see people who look like them, who are part of their framework or who are part of their surroundings, because it signals to our students what we call this mirrors and windows. Like when we see people who look like us, who may have the same lived experience, or we may not speak the same language, right? Or we may not eat the same food, or we may not have the same culture, but when we see some semblance, it signals that, I can be that person, or I feel like I belong here, right? Because you see someone who may have the same similarities as you do. And that opens also that windows of opportunities that, hey, I think I'm capable. I think I'm capable, and I think I'm gonna be better or just fine, just like this person in front of me who is being at the helm. So that's a good perspective, especially coming from our teens, coming from you guys. So thank you for bringing that up.
Of course. Kind of going to like relating to the students and everything. Why would you say supporting students matter? Like supporting students matter to you?
Oh, it does matter a lot. That is my why, and that's the reason why I'm in education. So growing up, I have, I would say I'm very, very blessed that I was with teachers who really saw the potential in me, right? So check this out. I recall when I was in elementary, and there was we had an election, like there was like sort of like a nomination for president of student council, and we do have that here, and we do have that in the Philippines too. So no one's stepping up, Jazz. No one's stepping up, and my teacher told me, Gwen, I think you should step up and try to nominate yourself. Try to nominate yourself, or probably have one of your friends nominate yourself as, candidate for president of the student council. And I was like, what? Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Like, why would I do that? And she looked at me and said, look at the people around. Look at all these kids following you around. Because I would always volunteer to help, to help the staff out, like say with the line and all that. Like I would always volunteer. Like, let me help you out, right?
They see something in you that like, you don't see
yes.
yourself.
And that became my mantra, because it did stick with me. Having this important adults in my life see what I can do and how it impacted my life, how it influenced me growing up and also becoming an educator. And I would want to see more students who have, not just the same story as I have, but for students to see that there's really a good path, right? And that is the core of what I do, is really making sure that our students have the support that they need for them to thrive, and see, that they have a bright future ahead of them.
I mean, like, if you guys like watching the popular teen movies, like when the new student walks into the school and they're looking around and they're seeing all like the groups of people, there's that stereotypical like, oh, all the jocks will hang out here, all the cheerleaders will hang out here, all like the necessarily like the band kids will hang out here, and it's all these different groups because people tend to hang out with people who look like them or who act like them. But I think that what's really so amazing is that when people are able to see beyond just like the shell that we carry around, and instead form like groups of people based on sharing experiences, not necessarily, like you said, the same experiences, but knowing that I also went through a similar struggle. Like, you may not be the same ethnicity as someone, like as a young Mexican student, but they can share the struggle with you, and I think that that's amazing.
Right. Well, thank you for mentioning that, Sophie. And I really do think that's a very important message for our youth to hear, right? And oftentimes we don't really look at, our background, our culture, but all of those things that we are so exposed to, that's part of our upbringing, that's part of our culture. And the more that we get attuned to our values, our culture, like the more we become true to ourselves and to others. Yeah.
Kind of building off of that, what would you say, like, the importance of youth's voice being heard?
Oh, wow. That is very important for us to know how we can help, how we can support you. What do you need? And what is it that would help us help you and also help the schools? I think we are in, this generation, because I compare generation to generation, right? I compare a generation to a generation before you guys, and comparing you with our generation. I never had this type of opportunity of having this mic and being on show, right? Talking about myself and talking about how we can serve and how can we make things better, and also hearing the youth. I recall growing up, like we would have the those big announcement, right? We have that in schools too, back in the days, and just announcing, okay, this is what's happening, yada yada yada, or writing a newspaper. So that's our way of speaking up and having our voices be heard. But now that you have this platform, much more than ever, having the value of your voices really shape how people think. What you're doing right now is a great form of leadership, right? Like using, this platform of podcast and using your voices in a very impactful way, because when you speak with, with integrity, when you speak with confidence, people listen. Right? You get our attention. You get the attention of the community. And knowing that you have something to say and something to contribute using this platform is very important, for us. Knowing what you need so we could make things better. And I am a firm believer that all of our students, our staff, our parents, play an important role in our education system. And when we all put our voices together, change can happen for the betterment of our schools. And when we have those voices, it means that we have a better system in place, because we can incorporate what would work and what would not work. And when we have those in place, we have a stronger schools, and that would lead to stronger community. So that's how important it is for all of us being in education, that we not just hear your concern, but you're part of the decision making.
I mean, like when you think about how much of our community is, I mean, me and Jessica live in the same high school. We have a population of around 45,000 people in Hollister. That might not be the exact number. Okay, don't come for me.
It's an estimate.
Estimate, right? But
it's growing. We know that it's growing.
Yeah,
exactly.
All the houses that we see around us,
yeah.
right?
But in all of that, we have one high school. So to think about how much of an impact
Right.
that school can have in our community. I mean, if you think about, I think there's like 800 seniors. That's 800 seniors that are either going out to the community or spreading their wings and going out to the world. So I just think that it's so important, like how much education has an impact on our community.
And also how leadership is very important within our education framework.
Yeah.
And it's not just the leadership that we see adults having the titles, but also a form of leadership coming from our students.
Yeah.
And how we can all help each other to see changes happening in the next level, at the very different level that we have never seen before, like innovation and all those amazing things that we want to see happening here in San Benito County,
absolutely.
because of all of our collective voices and all of our shared leadership.
For sure.
I would say, yeah, connecting to that, it is important, especially like us, like youth, I would say seniors, right? Us like youth leaders are here at school, and just putting our voice out there, and the opportunities that we have at school sometimes when we get like I would say when ASB they hold things where you can make your own club, and there's like engineering club, key club, what's another club?
I mean, there's
There are a lot.
There's a lot of
Right,
opportunities,
right.
and that helps us build as youth, as building up leadership skills, putting your voice out there and lead like projects, and like speak on like maybe topics affecting our generation. I feel like that's such a good way for us as youth building into such a better person and getting our actual voice out there and being heard.
And Jazz, that is a very, very important skills for you to learn at a very young age. Skills that would really help our community, our workforce, right? When you go out there, because it's reality. Once you leave the public, once you leave high school, that's a reality out there, right? And these are great opportunities, great training for our youth to have, just like what you're doing right now. I'm really impressed with your communication skills and leadership, because we need more of that happening in our schools.
yeah.
I would say, what advice would you give youth who want to make a difference or would want to get involved?
Oh wow, that's a good one, Jazz. You're making me think right now. You know, when we think of making a difference, it starts now. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You do not have to think of what you can do in the future, or when you become an adult, or when you become this person, for you to be able to create an impact. That impact starts now. I want you guys to think about what's going on out there that you can have your imprint on, your voice on, right? Like, think about something that really matters to you and start from there. The other thing that I would advise to, once you have that, I would say, situation that you're very passionate about, something that you're very passionate about that you want to contribute on, be confident.
Right.
Be confident, speak up, and do something about it, right? You don't have to wait for other teens or for other students to help you out. You get out of your way and to make things happen. And the last thing is, surround yourself with people who would have a good influence, right? It could be a staff, it could be another adult, it could be another friend, another peer, and learn from all of those people. Learn from your peers as well. And once you have all of those skills, lastly, is you give back.
Yeah.
You help another peer. You help another adult. Right? And that cycle goes on and on and on. So that's my message to the youth out there, is really be bold, be brave, and contribute.
Yeah.
Because we need you.
I feel like that's such a good message for our viewers. I mean, that applies to not only youth, but every single person who watches our episodes, is that you need to be passionate for something,
right,
and you need to be unafraid of pursuing it. And I feel like that is such an amazing message for you to share with our viewers, and we are so happy to have had you on our episode, so thank you so much.
Yay!
I know that
I survived.
We were so, I know she was so nervous about, like, obviously being on video, but it's like once you start talking, it comes out. But yeah,
and I thought I'm gonna learn a lot of your lingos today, so probably the next episode.
Yeah, well, we would obviously always love to have you on our podcast again, so let us know. You can follow us on YouTube, on Instagram, on any of our social medias. I think Instagram is probably the easiest for most people, and then let us know if you want to see Gwen on again, because I'm sure we have many more things to say, so that would be awesome. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys take our advice, take Gwen's advice for how to really get what you want. But yeah, and give it back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.